because he was younger. The nerve and the fear of failure and those things kind of made him not fight the way he could. Now, he just comes out and he fights. And it's like what happens, happens. And he gets good performances off of it, so it's fun to see, and I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, I can relate with the nerves as well because, like,
of course.
Podcast Dave gets on my nerves. I understand. So, yeah, I get it. I understand. Yeah. So it's one of those things. I thought
that's
Gleason
a different kind of nerve.
Yeah. Gleason T-Val fought a good fight, a smart fight.
Especially coming off last second change of opponents. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see him do more of what he did. He came out dominant. So obviously, he's extremely strong. Came out, got the takedown right to the submission. I was like, okay, this is the way you should fight. Why do you keep trying to stand with all these guys? I mean, he was supposed to fight Curtis Millender, right? Who's tall, long, and lanky. See, I said it, guys, just for you guys because I know you guys.
But so is Micah Terrell.
Yeah, that's true as well. But the takedown seemed like it came easy, right to the side choke, and then it was done. He seems so physically strong. I don't understand why he doesn't utilize his grappling a little bit more.
I know, because he gets tired.
He used to though, when he was kind of first coming onto the scene. He was having a lot of success when he was with the UFC. But then he got away from it for a while, where he's just trying to stand with everyone.
Wow, how rare! How rare. A guy finds out that I can touch someone on the chin and I knocked him out. I'm going to continue to do that. When it's not really your style of fighting and you go away from what brung you into something different, happens all the time.
Yeah, I never had that problem, like knocking people out. So it just wasn't in my game plan, really.
That's what happens when you have small hands. It's hard to carry power.
I know. It's true. This must be true. I have really small hands, everyone.
I know you do. It's crazy.
If you guys ever meet me outside of running up to me and say, "Hey, yo, tall, long, and lanky," and come up to me and put your hands. Hey, let me see your hands.
Let me see your hands.
To mine. You guys will be like, "What the?" So, yeah.
Dude, you know who has the same size hands as you? Tisha
Your
Torres.
wife.
Tisha Torres.
Tisha Torres. What an asshole. She can put her hand next to mine anytime she wants, though.
There you go.
All right. I guess for me, right, the fight on the card that I was really excited to see was the Clay Collard and Manfio fight. But the thing is I lost a little bit of love for it. I had Clay Collard winning the fight, and I think all the I think Kenny Florian did, Randy did, everybody else that was there that wasn't really officially a judge. They also had Clay winning. How'd you see it?
I had Clay winning, and it was. Clay won the first round. There's no doubt he won the first round. The second round, I'll give it. Manfio was doing well. He was landing cleaner shots, even though they were going back and forth, but Manfio was winning. And then there's like 45 seconds left in that round, and Clay turns it. He lands good shots, and it was the body shots, Josh. He went to the body, and he started ripping him, and you could see it hurt Manfio, and it made Manfio actually go down to the ground. And that's when Clay turns this round around. Yeah, he goes for the submission and stuff. That doesn't get real close, but still, it was the body shots that set all that up. That takes the round right there, because nothing that Manfio did was as good throughout that round. It should have been Clay Collard's round. I do give Manfio the third round. I thought he won the third round with the better, cleaner strikes, but I thought Clay Collard got a little bit stuck. But he got ripped.
Yeah, I felt like he did the same, very similar thing that he did with the Anthony Pettis fight.
Yep.
You know, he dominated Anthony in the first round. The second round, started ripping the body in the second round. Then he kind of slowed down and got caught with the head kick right by Pettis. But in this fight, you know, it wasn't going his way in the third. And I agreed with you 100%. I had him winning the first and the second. The second, I texted you and I said, was it enough? Did he win enough of the second round to win the round? And I thought he did. I was like, because that also too, that's the lasting impression in a judge's mind. Like, you dominated the last minute of that second round, and he dominated nicely. You know, it was very, very evident that he dominated the second round towards the end, and that's kind of what leaves in the judges' heads. And so I thought he did, but then I wanted to reach out to you because, you know, I know what I'm talking about. I just wanted to make sure you understood.
Thank you. I appreciate you, but making sure that I was correct.
Yeah. I just wanted to see, like, you know, sometimes you have to always look out for the older people, make sure they're following along.
I understand,
you know?
totally
like,
understand. Yeah.
Remember when I don't know.
Make sure they take that right, the right fork in the road.
Yeah, you remember those? When they have cartoons for kids, like Sesame Street, and they have the ball that used to bounce from one word to the next, so you could follow along reading. That's kind of how I feel when I'm having to explain the fights to you. It's like, oh man. All right.
What goes on in your head is simply amazing.
It is.
It is, because the fact that there's any actual thought at all surprises the hell out of me.
I wish I could explain to the common folk at home what really goes on in my head. It's just too complex for them to understand. We know this already, okay? John, you've hung around me quite a bit. You understand this. It's just too complex. When you're as educated as I am, it's hard for people to keep up. I understand that. So, Magomed Karamov.
Yeah, he's good. You know, we didn't talk about him, you know, in the last in the build-up really, and it's too bad. He's 29-5 or now, maybe, somewhere around there. He is good, and you know he's not dynamic in any fashion, but he's part of the Dagestan connection, and he's just he's got good stand-up. His hands are good. He doesn't have good kicks, but his hands are good because he lands clean strikes and he throws at the right time. He's got good timing when he throws. And then when he gets the fight to the ground, he's just utterly, able to control guys. He does the same thing that, most of the Dagestani fighters do. And he's a really good fighter. He's just not that guy that people are going to look at and go, wow.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have that flash. And Sai, who is a pretty flashy fighter, good stand-up fighter, he just had he was holding back, and this is the thing that cracks me up about guys that are stand-up fighters that kick. Look, if you're going to kick against someone that's a good grappler that wants to take you to the ground, stop trying to kick them to the body.
Yeah.
Okay? What are you thinking? You're putting your foot right where their arms are so they can actually grab it. Okay, now not all the time, but if you want to go to that low calf kick, that's good because it's hard to reach that. You want to bring it up high to the head, go ahead, because they have to at least bring that hand up, and it's only a timing issue that they were already kind of shooting when you threw the kick if they're going to take you down off of that. But stop going to the fucking body.
Yeah.
What the hell? Josh, tell them.
Yeah, if you're going to go to the body, my suggestion is the toe kick. So, like, you're going to do that little push kick / toe kick. So you're going to lead in with just your foot. It's harder for them to grab it. That's about it, man. Once you know that they're working on the timing in terms of catching the kick. Also, if you're going to come up and you're going to kick more with your shin to the body, that you're making it super easy for them to just catch it and take you down. So, yeah, that goes with fight IQ. Once you realize someone's just only trying to take you down, you got to get away from that. And so,
but I was
other weapons.
I was really happy because I actually, we talked about the Ray Cooper, and we'll talk about that in a second. But, we actually thought Ray Cooper was going to win that fight, and I do want to see the rematch of Magomed Karamov against Ray Cooper.
Yeah.
Now that Ray Cooper has had a little bit more time, he's a better fighter, and he's had the experience of going into it. It should be a really good fight. It's one that I would definitely watch.
How did Ray lose the first time they fought?
He just, he basically got taken down, couldn't get away from him most of the time. Rode out a decision victory against him, but yeah, he got him. But it was, I'd say 3 years ago.
Will that be a 5-round fight because it is the finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Cooper's must-see TV, man. I wish
I was a little surprised by the way he fought this fight, though.
I was extremely surprised, but it was smart.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't. Hold on, and this is the thing, and you could see it in this. All right, now we're talking about Ray Cooper and Rory. Yes. Rory had made it.
I'm glad you could keep up, John.
Thank you very much. Rory made a conscious decision, and it's clear. And this is what. Let's take a look at Rory's career, okay? Because Rory is a guy that very well rounded, but he was, I want to say, 10-0. When he went into the UFC and he fought Carlos Condit, and he was beating Carlos Condit and then got finished in the third round with like 10 seconds left. The referee stopped the fight. And so that was his first loss. And then he went on a nice little tear again, and he was 18-2. One loss to Robbie Lawler, one loss to Carlos Condit.
Stephen Thompson.
No. Not listening.
Thompson?
Okay, this is where you need to sit back and listen because I do know these things. Because he does fight Stephen Thompson after he fought Robbie the second time. God damn it!
Oh, I'm sorry. I was already thinking ahead because that's what my.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
I'm a forward thinker.
Yeah. So, but he's 18-2 when he fights Robbie the second time in the fight that everyone remembers.
Got it.
Okay. And so 18-2 at that time, and And now, at this point in his career, he's got a losing record from that point.
Yeah.
All right. And that's, even though he went to Bellator and he won the title and then, lost it, and he had some big losses in Bellator. The Gegard Mousasi, he got crushed. I mean, crushed. And if you watch what he decided to do in this fight with Ray, he wanted to take it to the ground. He didn't. He made a conscious decision. I will not just stand up. And now you're taking a look at a guy that had a very long jab, pretty good speed, is very accurate when he throws. He's got good technique. He's got good footwork, but he made a conscious, I can't stand up and absorb what Ray Cooper can throw for very long, so I'm not going to even do that. And he was the one trying to initiate the takedowns, and then it was, dude, he was pulling guard.
I know, I saw that.
Okay, so when someone pulls guard, tell me what's going on. I know.
They have no other way to get the fight to the ground.
There you go.
So in their mind, they're like, shit, I can't afford to stay on my feet because I'm going to get
cannot
knocked out.
stay on my
just feel the
feet.
power.
I can't stay on my feet because I'm going to get hurt by this guy. And the second now is I can't take him down in a way that I can get him down and be in the position I need to be. So I'm going to make a decision. I'm just going to pull guard. And that's what you saw Rory doing. And that says a lot about where his mind is in the fight game and against someone like Ray Cooper now. And that's what we thought going in. Nothing against Rory. He's been a phenomenal fighter. But, we say it all the time. The damage you take, it travels with you. And it travels on your body and it travels in your mind. And there comes a point where you realize I can't accept any much. I can't accept much more of this, or I'm not going to be able to continue this. That's what I saw out of the fight from Rory.
How should the PFL feel that they spent a lot of money on like guys like Anthony Pettis, Roy McDonald, and all these other fighters that have been coming over? How should they feel that none of them are in the finals?
Well, okay, let's be honest. We know this based upon where we work. Rory was, Bellator didn't even offer him anything as far as staying with Bellator. His contract was over and they just let him go. True?
Well, yes and no. They
Okay.
wanted they asked for a decent amount of money and then they didn't offer. They didn't come back.
Okay.
So,
but there were reasons behind it. And part of the reasons was, the performances of Rory, they were looking at it and going, he's just not quite the same fighter as what we expect him to be. He's not that guy on the mic that's going to really pump the numbers and people are going to fall in love with. And then there was things that he was saying, even when he was being interviewed at times, you go, do you really want to fight anymore?
Yeah.
And those things you've got to look at. And as the PFL, I understand what the PFL is looking at. They're saying, hey man, this is a guy that's had incredible fights, and he has. And this is a guy that you're looking at and you go, he's still young. There's something there. He could be great for us, and people are going to want to see him fight. I can understand why they got him. Same thing with Anthony Pettis. I was more surprised with the overall performances of Anthony Pettis than I was with the performances of Rory.
Yeah, we knew what to expect because we had called Rory's most recent fights when he was in Bellator, so we kind of knew where he was at. And didn't you were the ref in the cage for the second Rory fight, correct, with Robbie Lawler?
Yep.
Yeah, so that fight, you saw the amount of damage he took. You saw just the look on his face. You were closer than the rest of us, yeah. And then the damage he took in the Douglas Lima fight, the first one, I mean, his shin was so big. It was so, it was huge, man. It was huge. And just in this being told that, he basically, it tore the meat right off the bone. It had swelled up so much that he's going to have damage to his leg for the rest of his life. And so he's taken a lot of damage throughout his career. I think the Carlos Condit fight was the one that, he showed how much damage he can take. He's like just a walking zombie. And then went on to the Robbie Lawler fight that happened. And he just seems like, like you said, he had some comments also, about he wasn't sure what he was doing in terms of didn't feel right still being a fighter and, and his Christian faith and things like that. So as a promotion, you got to start thinking, all right, I'm paying him a lot of money, and he's talking like this. Okay, he's already got one foot out the door, so that's an issue as well.
Yeah, it is.
He's got such a beautiful family, man. He's got.
Oh, and he's a great guy. Look at, I don't want to say anything bad about Rory because he's a great person. No,
I don't think anyone can. I think he's such a nice person, man.
He's a great guy, and he's been a great fighter. And I just don't want to see, personally, I don't want to see Rory take damage when I'm not sure that he's 100% in. And we always say, if you're not 100% in, get out.
Yep.
And this is, I think Rory's in a position, he's like, I'm not sure what I can do to make the kind of money that I'm able to make fighting. And I think he's right there. It's not going to be the same, but it doesn't have to be the same. You've made enough money, and you can make a lifestyle for your family that's comfortable by doing other things and being someone that is very successful in what you do, because he will be, because he's smart and he knows how to work hard. He's going to be a success. This is not what you, in your heart, knows is what you want to do. Stop doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, well, that kind of wraps up the PFL talk, so let's get into Bellator. We'll talk about that as well.
Your target is too far away.
Look, if you are a smoker, I'm telling you right now, fume, F-U-M, that is what you need to get off of that nasty habit of being a smoker and get yourself straight. I'm telling you right now, you don't even have to be a smoker, but if you are, their essential oils and their fume the kit that they have, you start using that as your inhaler. Instead of puffing on a cigarette, you are going to stop smoking. You're going to get healthier, and that's what we want to see out of you. Fume is a fantastic essential oil aroma that you breathe in. It does things like it makes you feel almost energetic. It gives you that really mentholy taste at times with some of them. There's all kinds of different cores that you put in. Fume is a system that I've been using. I'm telling you right now, my dad was a smoker for years. He gave it up, but he's got this oral fixation thing going where, man, he went from cigarettes to chewing tobaccos, and then he went into toothpicks, and now he chews gum like crazy. Now he's on a fume, and he's not chewing gum the same way, and he actually likes it, likes the way that it always makes him feel like he has gum in his mouth and that he's got a good taste in his mouth. Fume is the way to go. I love it. What do you think about it, Josh?
You said exactly what I was going to say. It's a habit. Smoking, vaping, chewing gum, all of those things are habits. So replace it with something that's a healthier version of that, with essential oils that you breathe in. I use it basically not because I was a smoker ever or any of those things.
No, me either.
And I don't really chew a whole lot of gum, which is probably why my breath is kicking, but like 16 ninjas. But the bottom line is people use it, though, to help get rid of their habits that they have. And then this thing right here with Fume, what it does is it allows you to replace those bad habits, whether it's vaping or smoking, with essential oils that actually clear out your nasal cavity. Like for me, I have, like I've said before 100 times, I've got cauliflower in one nostril and I've got a deviated septum in the other. So trying to breathe out of my nose is painful sometimes. And so when I get onto the Fume, though, it actually clears me out. Like you said, that menthol kind of smell and feel, almost like I feel like I just got out of a steam room. You know, when you get into those steam rooms, they have the eucalyptus type feel, and their chambers that they put in there, the little
cores.
The cores that they put in there, you put them in. They have different tastes and smells to them as well, and they're essential oils, so no bodily harm to you. And they're actually a great thing to get into. And they've actually helped me with my breathing as well. So helps me sleep better at night. I do a little bit in the morning when I first wake up, gets me invigorated because they actually have an invigoration one, and so that one gets me going, gets me pumping, ready for the day. I go for my run, and then I feel like I've opened up my chest as well. And then right before I go to bed, so I can sleep without snoring and waking up everybody in the house, I do one right there. I know you snore loud, huh, John? That's why they call you Big John.
Come on, baby. Cozy chime for nighttime.
So what you guys got to do is go to www.breathefume.com. Now, Fume is F-U-M. There will be no E at the end of that. So it's www.breathefume.com/weighing-in. Okay, and use that promo code weighing in for 10% off. Check them out. They've got a bunch of different flavors you can hit. They've got the what is it called? The lime, cherry lime. That's a good one as well. And there's another one called bubbly lime. Sorry, invigorate. There's another one. That one's good. They've got a ton of other scents and flavors as well. So it gets you off of that habit of being a smoker, as well as like whether it's tobacco or whether it's vaping. Gets you off of that, replaces it with something more healthy for your body. Check it out.
Do it now.
Look, just
a lot of fight falling off of that one too.
Oh, jeez, it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
How does someone come in 7 pounds overweight?
Yeah, we had 2 fights.
You should
that we
not even
lost.
step on the scale. You should just fucking say, you know what? I'm going to walk out with my head down before I do this.
You should have known that you weren't going to make weight when you showed up.
Crazy.
You know, to the venue. Like when you show up the week of the fight, and let's just say you're way over what you normally are. You should know. I'm not going to make weight. 7 pounds is just ridiculous. Like that lets you know that you didn't even try. You didn't even try. 7 pounds. Jeez.
You need a clear line.
I thought honestly, like even though there were some fights on this card, but I was like, oh wow, the Glossner fight was freaking really good.
Was good.
Really damn
Sebastian
good. I was
Ruiz was tough as hell, man, and did a lot of good things.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't enough. I felt like Glossner he was winning enough. Like he was winning every exchange, and he was just slightly ahead in a lot of things. He had a great first round. I think it was the first round. He had a great first round. Second round, he came out, had another first round. But then what was funny is the first round and the second round, he ended both rounds on bottom. So he was going so hard that he ended up gassing himself out. His legs must have been shot, I think, after the first round where he had the triangle for a good 2.5 minutes and he couldn't finish it. He got on bottom the last 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds, maybe the last 12 seconds. He was on bottom and punched in the head. But he had dominated the full round in the first round. Yeah, I thought it was a really good fight. It actually lived up to the potential of that fight. I was like, oh, okay, I could see it kind of be a scrap fight, but it was a great fight to watch, especially in the arena. People were going crazy because of all the changing of positions. And
how tough Sebastian Ruiz was and how he stayed out. He was in submissions, but this is the difference of when, and it's hard for people sometimes when they're not really into jiu-jitsu, don't understand. They see the submission and it's being called for by, whoever's announcing stuff, but there's little aspects to it that are trying to tell them this is why it's not working. And the fighter themselves, they don't, they're trying to squeeze hard and they're trying to do this, and you're like, doing that right. Sebastian was able to survive, and a lot of those because Glossner was not putting himself in the right position, not putting the pressure in the right way, not dropping his hips down on some things. You're the one holding your weight up. Stop holding your own weight up. You want to sink your hips down, right? Like, okay.
Yeah, it was frustrating watching him try to finish that triangle in the first.
Oh my
He kept
God.
letting his foot. He kept letting the back of his knee slide to like the middle of his foot.
You can see the space. There's a triangle, man.
I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like,
No.
that's just so. Yeah, so we just I get exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, grab your shin, pull down on the head, do something that like change it up. Obviously, the way you're doing it is not working. Flex your toe up. Like all those things to keep that thing locked in. He kept grabbing his foot instead of grabbing his shin.
I know.
Never pulled down on the head. I'm like, bro, are you trying to fucking make this fight go longer? Which it did.
All the way to the end.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
But it was good.
After 2.5 minutes into the first round, you thought for sure that Glossner was going to get him out of there. But then little did we know, we went a full, 15 minutes.
But it was
a good
fun.
fight, man.
Yeah. Give them
Okay,
both
so
credit.
Ty
They're both
Gorder,
great.
Ty Gorder coming up with a loss. I had now if you guys want to go back and watch this fight. So Bastayev wins the fight. Ty Gorder has a good first round, kind of starts slowing down in the second, but I think he won the round. So I had Gorder winning rounds 1 and 2. If you go back and watch the fight, Bastayev, he wins the third round. Clearly he wins the third round.
Oh yeah.
He drops Gorder though, and he almost drops him again, all in like one big exchange. And so I had it a draw. Just to be honest, I had it 28-28, I think is what it would have been, right, John? Yeah, 28-28.
Yep.
Because I had a 10-8 round for Bastayev, and I had the first 2 rounds going to Gorder. So it would have been a draw. I didn't see any way that Bastayev could have won that fight, but apparently the judges did not agree with that.
No, they didn't. But I agree with you.
But thank you. Thank you very much.
But it could have either been the draw like you had it, or it could have been Gorder winning it 29-28 based upon in the third round.
Yep.
Bastayev did great and hurt Gorder, dropped him down with a shot. Then as he's getting up, kicks him to the face. Now it didn't land that hard, but it still knocked him back up against the cage and kind of down again. But it was that Gorder was able to at least, and he got cut off of it, but because he ate a knee. Gorder was able to change the position at the end of the round and actually be the guy. He was on top. He was landing good shots, even though, because they both were tired at that point. And so I thought that was what kind of, if you want to say, okay, it turned it from a 10-8 back to a 10-9. Could have been Gorder, but I would have been happy with a draw. I thought that was what was deserved by both, but you're right. The judges didn't see it that way.
Yeah, I want to point something out real quick because I know that Rafion Stotts is probably listening to this because he's always giving me a hard time about what I say on this podcast about him. So I know that he's listening to this.
If he's listening, Rafion, you were awesome. Let's talk, baby.
Well, let me first, Rafion.
And I love the fact you're giving Josh a hard time.
Yes, but this is the type of fight that I'm talking about. When you keep fighters in a fight, and because I had said this before about some of his past fights, when you allow a fighter, whether you're dominating them or not, you allow them to stick around. It only takes a moment like this for you to lose the round and then potentially lose the fight, like how Gorder found out. I had it being a draw, but when you let fighters stick around because you're out there having fun, because Ty Gorder had rocked him and hurt him.
Hurt him down in the first round, knocked him on his ass.
Yes, and so then he's getting the crowd pumping and all these other things. Instead of jumping on top of him and trying to put him away and do damage, he kept stepping away and letting him stand back up. Well, in the third round, that backfired. And so it doesn't matter. Like, it only takes one moment to change the way the fight starts to go. And so I want to give Stotts had a great performance. Against Magomedov
for you.
But in past fights, he's had great performances, but he's sometimes just been comfortable dominating them and letting them hang around. And this is why if you have an opportunity to get fighters out of there, you need to get them out of there because it can change at any moment.
But let me ask you this about Gorder. In your opinion, because it was when I was watching it, what I was thinking was, when he knocked him down in the first round, and he went after him, and he kind of gassed himself.
Yes.
And it wasn't that it's not that I don't think Ty Gorder was in condition. I think the adrenaline, the fact that he knew I got to win this because he was coming off a loss, and he knew what this meant, and then he was having a hard time catching his air. And again, I think it's more of it was a pressure and fear and adrenaline thing than it was him not being in shape, but it stuck with him for a long time, and I think that was a difference in the fight for him.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. He kind of blew his wad, trying to get him out of there in the first round. You could tell when he started stepping back and letting him up.
Hey, come here.
You could tell he was doing it because he needed a break. He wanted to get his wind back about him, and then on top of that, I think he also was trying to be a showman. I thought he felt like he was in dominant control of the fight, which he was at the time. But you can't. I'm going to keep going back. You cannot allow fighters to stick around. Get them out of there. You got to get them out of there. And it cost him. And I thought it was a bad decision. It should have been a draw at the very least, and I could have seen it being a win for Gorder. But it didn't. It doesn't end up turning out that way. And so you got to be very careful, especially when you're a Mohegan Sun. Do not let it go to the judges, especially when you're there. Davion Franklin versus Everett Cummings, exactly kind of what we thought it would be. And then Davion, if you're listening to this show, which you probably are.
Yes, because he gets mad at you too.
Yes, he does, and I'm okay with this. Okay, and I want everyone to understand.
He got mad at me.
It's funny. These fighters get mad at me when I say these things, but then guess what? In the same breath, they're like, "Yeah, but you were right." And I just want to make sure that's stadium. I want to pat myself on the back. Okay, I'm gonna throw my shoulder out doing that. But I mean, it's true. And so, Davion, do not read your paper clippings. Okay, your newspaper clippings, put them to the side. I know you had a good performance, and I know that Everett Cummings was 15-0. Now he's 15-1 or whatever. But this is just the beginning. Just put the paper clippings to the side, mount them up on your wall, but don't read them anymore. Okay, because we know you're explosive, we know you're good, but you're not going to get much from this fight in terms of.
You're never as good as what those clippings are going to say, and you're never as bad as what those clippings are going to say. You're true. Somewhere in between, so you know who you are. The best part about this was, look, and we said it before, Davion Franklin is an incredible athlete. But and when you talk about incredible athletes at heavyweight, that's not something that you see all the time. That's the top guys. You see a lot of guys at heavyweight, they're just not that good of an athlete. They're not that fast, but they're big, and they decided to learn how to fight, and they've trained, and they can do it. Davion Franklin is fast. He's got power. He's strong. He can wrestle. Davion's biggest thing that he needs to always be looking at is understanding how to fight. You don't lose your head in this thing. It is about you being smart, and he was smart in this. He exploded when he wanted to. The big kick up high kind of shocked Everett, and then he hit him when he went down, the right hand he hit him with, dude, that would have broke a block wall.
Yeah. I mean, he hit him on the top of the head, and he went down.
I know.
Yeah. So he's got power, but look, I thought the fight of the night definitely belongs to Raufeon Stotts.
No doubt.
His performance was everything you needed to see from a true mixed martial artist. And
Both
Magomedov was doing everything he could to get this fight to the ground, and he wasn't able to get it. And then he was stuck having to stand with someone who was a superior stand-up guy. And Raufeon fought a smart fight. He fought conservative. Everything was methodical in what he was doing. He wasn't throwing heavy heat, but he was getting it there fast and getting it back to his stance so he could defend the takedowns. And man, his sprawls were on point. Every time that Magomedov had shot, I thought he was sometimes out sprawl the situation.
He almost did. He almost fucking went to, as Magomedov's going, he was almost going, his feet are coming out. It's like, it might be too soon. That's how fast he was. But
I want to remind people that Magomedov, until this loss to Stotts, he only had one loss before. He also had a win over Piotr, however you want to say his name. It's Peter Yan, okay, people?
There you go.
Piotr. But his only loss before that was to Peter Yan, and he had a win over Peter Yan as well. They were 1-1 with each other. And in sitting there and talking with him in the fighter interviews, he's like, yeah, let's not try to compare Raufeon Stotts to Peter Yan. Peter Yan's one of the best in the world. Well, Raufeon Stotts is one of the best in the world. And so I want to make sure it's clear. It was a very great performance by him. They had great scrambles. I mean, Magomed was in a lot of trouble. I want to say in the second round when he got, his back was taken and almost got finished.
Third round.
Third round. And, it was just a good fight. He had a couple good exchanges. He was like in a hook sweep position. I think that was in the second round where he stepped over.
Yeah,
right
Raufeon
to mount.
stepped over.
Yeah, Raufeon did. And I was like, wow, that was very impressive. And to do that against someone like Magomedov was impressive. So I thought the night belonged to him.
You're taking a look at positioning, awareness, body control, all these things that were part of what he did. Because Magomed had him in the takedown. He had him.
Yeah.
And it was what Raufeon was able to do. And that's not something everyone can do. That's a guy that, he's a panther. That's what I call him, man. He is a damn panther. He's got unbelievable reflexes. He's fast. He's strong. And he just is able to fight in a manner like he did. Very smart, controlled, did not let the atmosphere and everything overtake him or the fact he knew going in. He knew exactly how good Magomed was. And he knew that this is a guy that I cannot just sit there and out wrestle like I've been able to do with just about everybody. It was a very impressive fight by both guys, and cannot wait to see what comes next, because I do hope that they bring in this bantamweight Grand Prix. That will be unbelievable. Think of the people in that thing.
I think they'll probably announce that thing now that the featherweight one is wrapped up, and then we'll have the October 16th, right, in Phoenix will be the semifinals for the light heavyweight tournament. So then I think that'll pretty much roll us right into the bantamweight. So they'll probably start the bantamweight, I'd say sometime around January, February, that first part of the year. I think it's going to be great, though, because now you've got Magomedov probably on the other side of the bracket, fighting probably like somewhere in there to fight for the title over Raufeon Stotts. Raufeon Stotts on the other side, he's got his hands full as well. So, I mean, the one thing I want people to go back if you guys go back and watch that fight, he out-wrestled Magomedov. And that's something that not a lot of guys can do. There's been top-level fighters that have not been able to out-wrestle him. And he ankle-picked him. He sprawled over him. And then when Magomed started to work his way back up, he ankle-picked him, drove into him, got to the top position. He looked phenomenal everywhere. He took the fight everywhere, and he mixed it up so well. And and I know Raufeon's probably listening to this, so hey, buddy, calm down, okay? We're getting to the championship titles. We're getting there. But, buddy, you had a great performance. I owe you your due. And I tip my hat to you, my man. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. And he's like, hey, you guys, I love his post-fight interview. John was so great. Stop sleeping on my wrestling. I'm a 2-time national champ for a reason. That's American wrestling's just as good as the Dagestani Russian type wrestling. It was great. He was so funny.
He was good. He did. You know what?
Good stuff.
he showed personality. He showed exactly who he is as a person. He's a great person. He's a great father. His 2 kids are absolutely adorable. Thank God they look just like their mama. But no, he's just a good person, and I'm glad that he's having the success he's having.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of DJ Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? Very well rounded, and quick, fast, fights.
Very
smart.
sure of himself.
Yeah.
Doesn't. No, because DJ was. Look at this is the one thing about DJ. DJ didn't puff his chest out. Didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But he was confident.
Yeah.
DJ always, man. When you were around him and you saw him, you go, damn, he knows. He knows how good he is. And so.
Yeah, and then Rafael's the same way. I mean,
Yep.
he tore me a new one in the fighter meetings.
They did not. That was funny.
Quit sleeping on me, man. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm good. I'm like, I got you, buddy. I got you. The return of Korshkov over Sabah Hamasi. I mean, yeah. I think Korshkov. The reason why he wasn't in the rankings this time around is because he's been inactive. I think he was out for almost 2 years. I don't know if he had visa problems or what the issue was, but we couldn't get him fights because of the COVID situation.
The whole COVID thing and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that put him right back into those rankings. I see him somewhere in that Logan Storley, Neiman Gracie rankings 5 and 6, somewhere in there.
4, 5, 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think that Jason Jackson should be next in line for a title shot after whoever. I think who's fighting next now. You've got Lima and who do you got? You got Lima.
Well, you got Lima and MVP fighting.
And MVP coming up in London.
Beginning of October.
Yep.
You got
and so
Amosov sitting there.
Yeah, I think you have Jason Jackson fighting Amosov. After I think he has a baby coming, and that's why he's not able to fight right now. So Yaroslav Amosov is 26-0. He's the champ. Had a great performance, a dominant performance over Douglas Lima. But then you got Lima and you got MVP that are fighting next. I think Jason Jackson should fight Amosov for the title. He's earned his due, man. He's got to win over Neiman Gracie. He's got to win over a lot of these guys, and so I think it'd be great to see Jason Jackson get his title shot.
Yeah, he absolutely deserves it with what he's come in and done as far as fights in Bellator. But let's be honest, Andrei Koreshkov does not get the credit he deserves. This guy's he's a killer, dude. This guy is good. No one wants to fight Andre. He's that guy. Douglas Lima is the one that when he first fought him, he lost to him. Then he came back. He was losing to him in Israel, and then got the knockout when Koreshkov actually hurt Lima. And they both set their feet and started swinging, and Lima hit him with a left hook that knocked him out. And that's what happens when you decide to go for it, and that's okay. In the third fight, Lima showed how to beat Koreshkov because he was able to defend a lot of the takedowns, stop what Koreshkov was doing, get him tired, and then put him away with a rear naked choke, and that was a great performance by Douglas Lima. But there's a guy that's not in that list too, that's sitting there on the outside that no one's remembering, and he's called the Monsoon. Lorenz Larkin belongs in there, okay? And his last fight was against at 170 was against Koreshkov. He came in and he fought once at 185, but he's going to be back in that 170. He definitely belongs right up in that 5, 6, 7 spot at least. He had a fight against Koreshkov. He got a split decision victory against him. So there's some guys in that thing. It's back and forth. I would love to see Koreshkov against Jason Jackson. I think that'd be a great fight. I think that would be fun. But if Jason's going to be sitting on the sideline, for a long time based upon Amosov, having a child stuff, so he's not going to be fighting, put him against Andrei Koreshkov. That would be a fun fight to watch. All of them are good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good matchups.
No, there is. I'd hate to see the winner of MVP and Douglas Lima, jump Jason Jackson. Let Jason Jackson get his title shot. That'd be great. And then, the winner of that can fight the winner of Jason Jackson and Amosov. If Amosov would be ready to fight by then. So, but overall,
let me say this about Sabah Homasi, though, because this is Sabah's second loss of the season. And I want to just put it out. Anybody that fights the way that Sabah has fought these last 2 fights, I would keep on my roster for as long as they wanted to be. Because he had the fight against Paul Daly where he almost had Paul Daly out. He threw everything he had into it, couldn't get him out, and got tired. And then Paul was able to put him away. This fight was the best fight I have ever seen Sabah Homasi fight, and he lost. But if you look at what he was doing, how he stayed composed, because we know Sabah, and Sabah will lose his mind in a fight and just start throwing. Okay? I thought he fought composed. I thought he fought smart. I thought he fought tough as hell because he took some huge shots and kept coming back after him. There's nothing bad other than that L that goes next to his name in that fight that I can say about what he did. He fought his ass off against a great fighter, had moments in there where he was doing well, but was always composed, always smart, and was going after a guy that is a stone cold killer. Sabah, I know you're upset. It was a great performance, man. Great performance.
All right, to the main event. So you have Gegard Mousasi versus John Salter. I think honestly, just to be honest, that the pressure got to John Salter. He's been waiting a long time for this title shot, and I think he was in shape. I think Gegard put that type of pressure on him. He just couldn't handle the pressure in terms of I think in the back of his mind, rounds 4 and 5 were there, just knocking on him, going, "Hey, you're being put under all this pressure, and if we get into this 4 and 5 rounds, you're gonna have to relax." And I don't think he could relax because Gegard never gave him a moment to relax. And once the takedown stopped coming and they had to work super hard for him, he just started doing what Rory McDonald was doing, shooting and then pulling guard. And that's not the way you're going to beat Gegard.
Not a good. You're not going to get a champion out of his spot by doing that. I look at it this way, and we both knew it. Like, John Salter's submission game is outstanding, but again, people do not give credit to Gegard Mousasi and how good he actually is on the ground. Now, being good on the ground, he's good in, he's not the greatest submission master there is, but damn, he's good as far as knowing how to defend against him. He's not, this guy that's got this incredible fucking ground back, game off of his back where he's throwing up all these, wizard-like type of submissions, but you can't get him to a point where you can attack him and get to those submissions. And then once you do, he's able to defend against them. His top game is unbelievably heavy. Again, he's not the guy that's going to go after a lot of submissions in the top game, but look at his hip positioning and look how guys that are really good on the ground start to wilt under the pressure of him being on top and the strikes that he throws. He's just freaking a phenomenal fighter. He is just good everywhere. He's fast. His jab was a big, difference in this fight. I think John Salter could not see that jab when it was popping out because Gegard was walking forward, putting pressure, which is what I thought he needed to do on John because that would make John be tense. It would burn energy, and that's one of the things that we thought. John does tend to trail off, especially if he gets towards the third round. And then we were talking 4 and 5 was possibly there. So pressure would make that happen at a quicker rate. It would be something that could work for you, and he used that exactly. He was going after him. It's just the level of fighters. Let's just be honest. You're talking about a legend in Gegard. John Salter's a great fighter. He is tough as hell, and he'll beat most guys. It's just all that experience, all of what Gegard has done in his career, and how smart he is as a fighter. It was too much for the first time, coming into that championship fight for John Salter, but nothing bad there.
Well, they officially announced that it was going to be, they didn't say when it was going to happen, but they said that Austin Vanderford would be next. So Mr. Van Zandt is fighting Gegard next for the title. They said probably sometime early next year because Austin's got a little bit of an arm injury that he's dealing with right now. He just had surgery this week, and then you've got Gegard who's going to go back home, probably rest for about a month, and then probably get back on track to stay on the farm and just start training. So that's going to be a good fight. I look at it as almost like a repeat of this fight, except the difference will be the speed and the cardio and the pace will be a lot faster. I don't think Gegard can do what he did to John Salter, or to Austin Vanderford that he did to John Salter. He's not going to be able to try to walk him down because Austin will be able to wrestle and wrestle. Like, he'll continue to wrestle throughout the rounds. He will not pull guard. He is someone he comes in always in shape. He pushes the pace. He's got great scrambles. I give obviously the edge on John Salter having more jiu-jitsu.
John Salter's definitely more dangerous as far as
more dangerous when it comes to the submissions. But the power, I give it to Austin Vanderford. The speed, I give it to Austin Vanderford. So if you have Austin fighting Gegard, some of those shots that, like I talked about on the broadcast, just blatant disregard or disrespect for John Salter's stand-up. And he got clipped a couple times. One time looked like
one time he got hurt.
Yeah, and
that overhand left that hit him that hook.
Yep. It had Gegard a little weird for a second, and then
got his attention.
There was no follow-up. Yeah, there was no follow-up. But with Austin, though, there's going to be some follow-up. There's going to be a lot more, and it's going to get there faster, and he possesses a little bit more power, I think, than John Salter. So it'll be an interesting fight to see when that fight comes about, but that's tough, man. he's a tough kid. That's a big step up in competition.
Careful what you wish for, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. It's not, and you're right. He's a younger, faster, stronger fighter. He's a younger, faster, maybe not faster, close to the same. Younger, stronger fighter than Gegard. Younger, faster, stronger fighter than John Salter.
Yeah.
Certain elements that he has. But the one thing that he definitely doesn't have the amount of experience that Gegard has, especially in championship fights. Again, no 5-round fights.
No, he has one. Yeah, I talked to him on air. He has one, but it was in a lower organization. But yeah, he has a 5-round.
And what round did it go to? If it doesn't go into the 4th or 5th round, it's not a 5-round fight.
That's right. I didn't ask him, though. I didn't ask him that. I was like, hey, have you ever fought a 5-round fight? He's like, yeah, that's as far as we got. So
yeah, there you go.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No, but he's got his hands full with Gegard, man. He's got his hands full with Gegard. So, and here's the thing, he trains with guys that are all undefeated as well. So he trains with Amosov, who is 26-0. He trains with Johnny Eblin, who is 9 or 10-0. And then he trains with Dalton Rasta, who is 6 or 7-0. So I think between all 4 of them, they're all on the Bellator roster, but they're all undefeated. Between the 4 of them, I think their record's like 50 or 51-0. So it's pretty impressive to think those guys all train together. So, all right. Well, hey, let's go. MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.com. Go there. Use the promo code WayneIn, and they're gonna give you a little extra cash. So football is picking back up. So this is the preseason. I don't think you can bet on the preseason, but maybe you could. But
I bet
there's
you can.
Preseason coming up. Hockey's about to restart as well. I'm pumped. I love hockey, man. I'm pumped. So when hockey starts back up, there's another thing to start betting on as well. So go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code WayneIn. They're going to give you a little extra cash, and you can use that there as well. On top of that, I'm
going to say this. Don't try to get rich doing this, but hey, guys, if you put $5, $10 down on a fight, it will definitely make it a little bit more interesting, put a little bit more pressure, make you a little bit more tense during the fight. It's a lot of fun. Don't worry about becoming rich off of it. Just have fun with it and use my book.
It's funny that we were at the casino, and I've never gambled at Mohegan. No matter how much we're there, I've never gambled.
Yeah.
But then after I got done packing, I hit you guys up. I said, hey, I'm going to go back down, and I'm going to have a beer with Mr. Van Zandt and Miss Van Zandt. So we went down, had a beer, and we ended up at the tables. I ended up winning $400. I was like,
hey!
But little did I know, their table minimum is like $50. I'm like, we're not in Vegas, man. Like, what the fuck? People can make it don't have $50.
That would have been the end of my table experience. Like I said, $5-10 is fun.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking, I was like, hey, where are the tables that are like, like I said, $5 or $10? Oh, we don't have them. I'm like, you don't have a $25 table? And they're like, no. Wow. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, everything goes $50. I'm like, this is nuts. Anyways, yeah, we started winning, and I was like, okay, cool. So
yeah, as long as you're playing on the house's money, it's okay.
Yeah. We had a really good dealer that came in after like 1 or 2 hands, and we just started winning, and then we stayed. And then when that dealer left, we stayed with the other dealer for 1 hand, and I had a 19, Austin had a 20. And the dealer gets a 21. And I picked up my money and said, I'm fucking out of here.
Say goodbye.
There's no way. Yeah. I'm like, no way. Your first
bad
hand.
Juju.
You get a 20. You get blackjack the first hand. No way, man. Yeah, I'm out of here. And I had a 19 and he had a 20. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Austin looked at me. He's like, we're out of here. So it's good. Oh shit, that's great.
Wow,
Oh.
$50 a hand. I can't believe that.
Yeah. I'm like, you're in Connecticut, man. This is not Vegas. What are you guys doing?
Connecticut's got money.
Oh, jeez, that's like fuck you money to me.
Oh yeah.
you start betting $50 hands, like, come on, man, that's fuck you money. All right, so Yoel Romero is gonna set to make his military debut on. How did I not get that out of my mouth? Jeez.
Yoel Romero is set to make his Bellator debut. There you go. Go ahead. Now it's yours.
Just to remind you guys, it's pretty damn early here. It's pretty early where I'm at.
I got like a 15-minute
yeah.
lecture from you before we started about speaking English this show, and Josh can barely get the headline out.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, you just said something and no one understood what you just said. So, not one person. So he's making his Bellator debut against Phil Davis, and that is September 18th in San Jose at the SAP Arena. So that should be a great fight, man. I mean, when they started talking about who they should match him up against, and I didn't even think about Phil Davis. I don't know why or what the situation was. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, so him and Phil. I mean, what do you think?
Look at Yoel Romero is remarkable as far as his. I think being at 205 is going to be a good thing for him. I really think that's a game changer for him. Even though I look at it and I go, I would like to see him fight against Gegard just to see that fight at 185. But I understand, cutting the weight has been a problem for him recently in his fights. So I think the 205 is a good thing for him. That's a huge 20-pound difference. Strength-wise, it's not going to make any problems for him. But I do think that Phil being as elusive as he is going to cause Yoel some problems as far as Phil doesn't just come forward. He bounces in and out. He uses good angles and stuff. He's got good wrestling. It's not quite at the level that Yoel reached, but it's good enough for MMA for him to keep this fight where he wants. If he wants to keep it on the feet, he can try to take Yoel down. Yoel is someone you can take down because he does overextend on some of his punches and combinations that he throws because he's very confident in his wrestling. So I think it's a really good matchup. I think this is a fun fight. I do think the speed goes with Phil Davis. I always like speed in a fight. Yoel is not a supreme athlete, but he is getting older, and that speed does start to diminish. I don't know. It's a tough debut fight for Yoel Romero.
Yeah, to see him fight at 205, I think it's going to be huge because he's always had a tendency of slowing down as the fight goes on. I wonder how much that is attributed to the weight cut.
And I think that he also knows about it, in his head, and so he doesn't go and explode when he can because he's worried about, I know that I'll get tired here because I cut so much weight. Not going to be there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Phil, I think, could take him down. I don't know if Phil was going to put that much effort out. I think he's going to try to make Yoel.
Phil will not be trying to take him down. Only if I don't even know when, because Phil just does not like to wrestle. He likes to stand up. Now, if he will take you down if the opportunity arises, and he's not going to burn a lot of energy, and that's smart fighting. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. It's the way to do it, but I think it's going to be mostly on the feet.
I agree. But I'm glad that's happening in San Jose because they need to stack the rest of that card. So I know Adam Piccolotti is set to fight on that card as well.
Yeah, that's a good
fight
return.
Right there. Return of Adam Piccolotti, and I don't want to announce it because I don't think it's been announced yet.
Okay, then I'm sorry. I won't say what that fight is, but it's a good fight.
Yeah. I choose to keep my job, so I'll let them announce it. Next. What else you got, Dave?
So we're going to jump to a couple of social media topics that came up this week.
Let's go.
First we're going to talk about Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz, and then
all right. I knew about this one.
Anderson Silva, Tito Ortiz. I have no idea. Like, Tito, I like you, but you're not a boxer. You never have been a stand-up guy. I don't know why you're taking this fight. I get it, money. I get it. I understand that.
There you go. Now you understand why.
It. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, whatever. It's not going to go well for you, buddy. It's not. I don't think it's going to go well.
The prediction by Josh Thompson is out.
Yeah.
You're going with Tito.
Oh, I'm going with Anderson for sure. I think Tito will make it kind of a fight for the first 2 rounds, but then after that, it's going to be all Anderson. Anderson's just going to start touching. It's not going to be good.
Anderson has never had such a big target. Come on.
What do you think?
You know, I had someone talk to me about this fight. They actually asked me to referee it. I ended up turning it down because, in fact, the guy that put out this report is the guy that said, "Oh, John McCarthy's going to be the third man in the ring." I said, "Oh, really? I can prove you wrong." No, I won't do it. So, I looked at it, and the truth is this. They're both 46 years of age. Right? Tito fought at 205 for most of his career. This is going to be at 195. That's the weight on it. So that's
190?
195.
Oh, jeez.
95 is weight. So Tito's going to have to bring himself down. He's going to have to be dieting. He's going to have to be doing a lot of things. So he's going to come in kind of in shape. But that 195, he used to struggle to make 199, which is what the weight category was like when he fought Frank Shamrock.
Yep.
Okay, and he was a much younger man back then, and that he struggled at that 199. So that 205 was kind of brought in to kind of help him because he was the champion in the UFC at the time. So that
it wasn't. They didn't kind of make that weight for him. They did make it for him.
Okay, thank you very much. I was trying to be, but yes, it was. So that 205 was put there because that was a weight that he could always get to make, and that was their champion. So that's a 10-pound difference. That's a huge difference, and that's not that much time. That is, September 11th. We're talking less than a month. He's going to have to be cutting a lot of weight. Look, Tito walks around at 230 something. Yeah. 195 is a big cut. Anderson is feeling very happy right now. He's comfortable, and at 195, he'll make that all day long, no problem at all. So energy-wise, even if Tito's going to be in shape, and I know he will be, energy-wise going to go to Anderson. He's going to be fresh. Tito's going to have a deficiency problem just based upon the weight cut. They're both 46. They both were world champions. There's no doubt that Tito never won fights based upon his stand-up skills and prowess. He won it by being a ground and pounder. He won it by using wrestling and getting someone to the ground and keeping himself from being hurt and putting a beat down with elbows, which was his best strikes ever because he was never a guy that had a lot of power in his hand. This is going to be with 12-ounce gloves. 12-ounce gloves, Anderson Silva all day long. He's not going to really touch Anderson well, and Anderson's going to be popping out a jab that cannot miss. Again, Tito, I love you, but you got a pumpkin-sized head. It's huge. And he's going to have to be trying to move that thing. Jason Pearl is going to be there, I'm sure, for Tito. He's a great coach, but his skill level-wise, I look and I say Anderson's the guy that should absolutely walk away in the end with this fight. But it's, it could be competitive. I don't see a problem with it. And it's going to be 2-minute rounds. So at 2-minute rounds, that's helping Tito survive.
You said 12-ounce gloves. Wouldn't it be 10s?
Yeah, it normally would be. But when the commission says, we'll let you do it with 12-ounce gloves, what are they saying?
I have no fucking clue.
They're saying,
they're
we
both
don't want, I know, but we don't want you getting knocked out. We don't want you being up. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't get the knockout, but the bigger gloves does two things. First off, there is a difference when you get hit by a 10-ounce.